This video is a part of my CSS beginner series. In this episode, we're going to learn about CSS Border Property. Understanding this lesson is going to help you understand our next episodes. Something like CSS box module, paddings, margins. This is going to help you a lot when it comes to the box module. So pay close attention to what I'm about to teach you in this episode. So in this episode, we're going to be learning about borders in CSS. So what is a border? In simple terms, a border is just like a fence surrounding your content. Let me take you to my image and explain this further. Okay, so this is a house, and this house has a fence, which is this red box surrounding it. In this case, this particular red box is a border of the house. Okay, translating that to code, when we talk of a border is just that line that surrounds your main content. On our screen, you can see we have borders surrounding our text. Welcome to lesson 12. You can see there's a border, green border, surrounding the text. Below we have the topic, which is CSS Border Property, with dotted borders around it, and beneath we have another text with this rich border surrounding it. So let's see how we can also write borders for our web page. So first of all, take you to our code editor, and then inside our code editor, I created an HTML file called border.html. I also created a CSS file called style.css. These files are linked using the link tag. Now let's go ahead and write our first border. Okay, first of all, I'll put a heading tag here, which is h2, and then inside this h2 I'm going to put text there. So something like, let's put our first border. I'll come down and put p tag, and then inside here we'll put another text, our second border, like this. Now we're going to target these elements and then apply border to them. Now let's go to our web browser, and this is our file border.html, and you can see we have our heading h2 and our paragraph. Now let's assign our borders. We're first of all going to tag h2, so I'll take you to style.css, and then inside here we're going to put h2, and then we're going to give it a border. So you simply put border, and then you put 2 pixels like this, and then you put solid. Good. Now let's go to our web browser, reload this page, and as you can see we have a black border around our h2. Let's target our paragraph. So I'll go back to the code editor, and then we come down and put p tag, we put border, and then let's put 5 pixel dotted. Okay, so you put dotted there, and then you can put red. Okay, let's go to our web browser, reload, and now we have a dotted border around our paragraph, which is 5 pixels. This may not make sense. Now let's go and talk about borders in detail. Because you are new to borders, I will take you to the code editor and we'll talk about borders in detail. So go back to our code editor, and then clear everything. All right, good. Now we're going to talk about borders in detail. So I'll first of all create a box. So we'll go to borders.html, and then we'll also clear our h2 and our p tag, and then I'm going to put a div here, and a div is a container. Okay, so div. Now with this div, we're going to create a class, and then we'll give it a name, class name. So let's give it something like first border or border one. Okay, so let's give it border one like this. And then what we're going to do is we're going to make this a box. Okay, so we'll go to our style.css, and then we're going to target that class. Because it's a class, you put dot and you put border like this, and then we open it this way. Now first we're going to give it a background color, so we'll give it a background color, and then our background color is going to be like gray. Okay, so something like gray. Good. Next, we're going to give this a height of something like, so we put height, and then we give it like 200 pixels. And then next we put width. Okay, so we give it a width of something like the same 200 pixels, like this. Now let's go to our web browser and see what is happening. Reload, and right now we can see our border. Let's go troubleshoot it. Okay, so this is a problem. It's called border one. Okay, so put one there, and then go back. If you're not targeting your CSS, sorry, your classes properly, or you're not using the right classes, it's not going to work. Reload, you can see you have a border here with gray color, with height 200 and width 200. Next, we're going to give it a margin because it's too close to the edge of our browser. We want it to shift to the middle. Okay, somewhere middle, so that we can see what is happening. So to do so, we need something we call a margin. Okay, we're yet to talk about margins. Okay, and padding, don't worry about that. This video is about borders. So we put margin, so we put margin there, and then we give it something like 600 or something like 60 pixels. So 60 pixels is okay. And then we'll go back to our web browser, reload this page, and now you can see our border has been, our box has been pushed to the right a bit. Okay, by 60 pixels. Okay, good. So now we have 60 pixel left, 60 pixel top, down, and right. Okay, good. Now let's give this box border. Right, so what we're going to do is we're simply going to give it a border width. Okay, so we are going to come down like this, and then we'll give it a border. Every border has width, so border hyphen, I put width like this. Now border width is going to be like 10 pixels, so 10 px. Good. Next, let's give it a color. Okay, so every border has color. You can apply color to a border. Without this, your border is going to have a default black color. So you give it border color, so border, and then we put color, and our border color, let's say it's like red. Okay, next we're going to give it a border style. Now your border will not work until you give it a style, okay? Because when I take you to the browser and reload this page, our border will not show up until you apply a style to your border, okay? Do you want your border to be dotted, or in which way, dashed form? Okay, so let's assign our border style. So border, and put style. Now we want I want my border to be, and this is a list of things you can apply to your border. Do you want it to be dashed, dotted, double, groove, or what? Okay, so this case I'm going to put solid. Okay, so for now let's put solid. Perfect. So a border has width, color, and style. All right, these are very, very important. Now go to our web browser, reload this page, and now you can see we have a red border surrounding this box. Okay, let's go and change our border style from solid to something like rich. Okay, so rich is also a border style in CSS. Reload this page, and you can see this is like a frame of a picture. You can see the edges, see how it is, and it's like there's a depth inside it. Okay, see that? So that's another border style. Let's change this to something like dashed or dotted. Dashed like this, and then we go back there, reload this page, and you can see we have dashed border line surrounding our box. CSS has provided us with a shorthand for this whole code. Okay, so there's the shortest way of writing this exact code, okay, with a single line. Okay, so how do you write this in a different way? To write that same code using the shorthand format, you simply put border. Okay, now after you put border, you put your color, and then you put your semicolon. Now inside here, put your width, okay, which is 10 pixels. So put 10 pixels, and then we leave some space. Next, you can put your color, but it's always advisable you put your styles next. So put our style, which is dashed. Okay, so go ahead and put dashed. After that, you put your your color, followed by the color, which is the last one. So you put red. Okay, so this is a shorthand, and then we can go ahead and comment this out, or just clear everything off. So you can go ahead and comment it out like this. Now let's go and see if everything will work. Now when we reload this page, this box should remain as it is. There shouldn't be any changes, because that first code and the second code are almost the same. They're the same. So when you reload, you can see our box is still there. Nothing has changed. So that's a shorthand to our first code. Okay, so let me take you back there, and then you can see, so we have border width 10 pixels, which is here. We have our border color, red, is here, and then we have our border style is here. Most of the times developers use this format on their code. Okay, this method is actually time wasting, and it also occupies space. Okay, so this method, I will not do that. I'll simply clear it like this. Okay, so that's a shorthand to writing borders. Okay, there are a lot of amazing things we can do using borders. Okay, we're going to look at some of them in this part of the video. Okay, but before we begin, or before we continue, there is something very, very important I want you to put in your mind. You can see this box all right, it has top, right, bottom, and left. When you are applying any style, something like border, padding, margin, these are things we're yet to talk about. You first of all consider the top. The top is the most important part. So you top first, followed by right. So it's a form of a clockwise format. Okay, so top followed by right, bottom, left, top, right, bottom, left. So that's how it works. It never works this way anti-clockwise. It doesn't work that way. Top, left, no way. It doesn't work this way. It works top, right. Okay, so always consider the clockwise of your box when applying something like padding, margin to your size of your box. Okay, so let's continue looking at some of the amazing things you can apply to your box. Okay, not just a box, but your elements, your HTML content. I'll take you to our code editor, and then what we're going to do here is we're going to clear our border like this, and then we're going to, but before that, let's go back to our web browser, reload this page. Now you can see everything has cleared. Now we don't have border around this box. Let's go ahead and do some of the amazing things with border. Perfect. So now what we're going to do here is we're going to give it a border width. Okay, so let's give it a border width hyphen width like this, and then first width we're going to talk about is, as I talked to you, we have top. Okay, from top we have right, from right we have bottom, from bottom we have left like this. Okay, so this is how it works. Now put this into consideration. All right, good. So let me comment it out. Let's put something like this to make it an invalid code. Okay, so now let's go ahead and then write code for our border width. So put border width, and you put width like this. Good. Now this way. So first thing we're going to talk about is the top. Okay, so the top, we're going to give the top 2 pixels like this. We're going to give the right of our box, the right side, as 10 pixels. We're going to give the bottom of our box as 20 pixels, and then we're going to give the left of our box as 30 pixels. When we go to our web browser, we're not going to see anything. This is because we have not yet applied any styling to our border. That's why when we go to our web browser, we're not going to see anything. So when we come here and reload, nothing happens. This is because there's no style there. Okay, so let's go ahead and then apply a style. Good. So I hope now you know how the box works, starting from top, right, bottom, and left. So I'm going to now clear this code this way. Perfect. Now let's go ahead and then talk about our styling. So we come down like this, and then we're going to give it a border style. So put border, and then we're going to put a style to it. Good. Now when we put solid there, when we put solid here, okay, something like solid, and then go to our web browser, reload, you can see that there's a border around it, which is black border. On top we have 2 pixels. Right, we have, let me go back there and see. Okay, so right we have 10 pixels, 20 and 30. Okay, so 10 to the right, 20 down, and 30 here. Okay, you can do amazing things with borders. Now let's go back there, and then you see this solid. This solid is for this whole size. Okay, top, right, bottom, and left. So when you assign one attribute or one value to it, it applies to all. Okay, something like the border width. When you put only 30 here, one value, something like 30, like this, 30 pixels, this 30 pixels is going to be distributed, going to be applied to all the 4 sizes. Okay, so when you put one value there, it's going to be applied to all the 4 sizes of it. Okay, that's also another important thing to take notice of. Good. Now let me reset everything back to how it was, like this. Perfect. So now we want to get creative and then assign this style to the top side. Assign something like dashed to the right. Assign something like reached to the bottom, and then assign something like dotted. Okay, you can also put dotted to the left. Okay, so when you put something like this, this will be applied to this, the top one. Okay, so it's going to be distributed evenly, respectively. Okay, so 2 pixel is going to be for solid style, 10 pixel is going to be for the dashed style, in that order. Now let's go to our web browser and then see if it will work. Reload. Good. And this is very, very weird. On top there, you can see there's a line. To your right, you can see we have this dotted. Bottom, we have a reach, and to your left, you have dotted. Okay, you can see that. Perfect. So that's how it is. Now let's go ahead and then do some amazing things with it. All right, so I'm going to clear everything here. All right, but before that, let's assign colors to them. Okay, so I'll come down and put something like what? I'll put color, and the same way when you put something like red, like this red is going to apply to all the 4 sizes of our box. So you can see right now it's black here, black there, black there. All right, so let's reload. I can see now that we have red 2 pixel, red dashed, red as a reach, and red dotted to the left. Good. Let's be creative and give them separate colors. All right, so we're going to give our top, so this is for top red, our right as green color, our bottom as orange color, and our left as something like my aqua, which is my favorite color. So aqua. Good. Now let's go to our web browser, and all the borders are going to have different colors. And now you can see on top we have red, followed by the right, which is green, followed by orange, and followed by the aqua, which is the dotted. Okay, good. There's yet another border property we have not talked about, which is border radius. Before I can demonstrate border radius, I'll first of all clear my code like this, and then I'll change this color to something like, let me just give it a red color. Perfect. Now we'll go to our web browser, reload this page, and now we have this square box inside. Good. Now let's talk about our border radius. So I'll go back to my code editor, and then we're going to talk about border radius. So we'll put border radius, and border radius, I'm going to give it like 20 pixels. Now let's go to our web browser, reload this page, and you can see we have these curved edges of applied to our box. You can see that's border radius. So border radius applies some circular effects to our box. Okay, so what if we wanted to change this to a complete circle? What do we do? Good. To do something like that, make sure your height and your width has the same values, the same pixels, something like 200 as your width and 200 as your height. Okay, make sure it's a square. If not, it will be like a rectangle. Okay, make sure they're the same. After that, come here, you see the border radius, change your border radius to 50%. Right, change it to 50% like this. When you change it to 50%, the web browser will make it a circle, and now you can see we have a complete circle, very accurate circle on our web browser. Thanks to border radius, we're able to get this complete cycle. There are a lot of complex things we can even do with border radius. Let's go ahead and discover these things. But first of all, I'll take you to the code editor, and then we clear our border radius like this, and then we go back to our web browser to make sure this is a complete square. Good. It's a square now. Now let's do complex things or amazing things using border radius. Okay, so on top here you can see this is the topmost part of our box. This is top, right, okay, bottom, and left. Okay, so on top here we have top, left. You can see that this is top and this is a left. We are talking about the edges, so this is top left, so this edge is a top left. We have top right. Okay, good. So now let's work on our edges, okay, using border radius in a different way and a more creative way. So I'll take you to our web browser, and then we put border dash top dash, we have the left part of it. Okay, so left dash, I put radius like this way, and inside here we're going to give it something like 10 pixels, so 10 px. Okay, so this border top left radius. Okay, I hope you know that part. This is top left radius. Okay, so reload this page, you can see 10 pixel edge or border radius has been applied to that part. If you cannot see it, let me increase the value from 10 to something like 20 or 30. So something like 20 is okay. Good. Go back there, reload, and now you can see this particular curve here. All right, let's continue. So the next thing we're going to be looking at is, so you put border, top, and this time we're going to put right. Okay, so we put top, and this time we're going to put right, like this, and then we'll put reduce, like this, and this time we're going to put something like, maybe let's say 40 pixels this way. Good. So this particular style is going to be applied to the top right. Okay, here, top right. Let's reload. You can see 40 pixel border radius has been applied to this part of our box. Okay, let's continue. Perfect. So we come down and put another border style. So put border dash, and this time we're going to put bottom. Okay, bottom. Now we can put right left, because when you say right left, which part are you talking about? When you say right left, that means or right. It doesn't work that way. So you talk about the bottom and the top. Okay, and then you add the right and left to them. Okay, so let's talk about the bottom left and bottom right. We have top left, top right. We have bottom left, bottom right. We come back here, and then we're not going to put bottom there. So we put bottom like this, and then we're going to put left. Okay, so put left there. This is the left, and then you put radius. This time we're going to give it like 60 pixel. So 60 pixel, and then I'll take you to our web browser, reload, and it's going to be applied to this part. Okay, this is the bottom left. Okay, control, and now we have this part of it as 40 pixels or 60 pixels. Okay, so that's 60 pixels left. Then we'll talk about the right as well. So I'll take you here, and then we come down this way, and then we'll put another border bottom, and this time we're going to put right. Okay, we're going to put right. So right, radius, and this time we're going to give it like 5 pixel. Okay, so 5 pixel. This is not going to be big, it's going to be a tiny curve. And then when we get there and reload, we'll see that this will be curved a little bit. Okay, and now you can see we have a little bit curved here. Okay, you can also put 10 pixel if that is too small. So I'll change it to 10 pixel. Then we go back there, reload, and now we have this curve. You can see this shape, how nice it is. Okay, so with this you'll be able to design different elements on your website and have your website look amazing, look standing, and have that classic look. Okay, so that's border radius. You can do a lot of amazing things with border radius. Okay, so let's talk about a shorthand. Okay, what we need to do is we come back here, and then it starts from top, and we have top left, top right, bottom left, sorry, bottom right. So this is supposed to be on top here. This is actually supposed to come before the left. All right, so we have top left, Let me take you to the web browser and show you. So we have top left first, which is a clockwise rotation. So we have top left, top right. We have bottom right, because after here you come here. Okay, so bottom right and bottom bottom left. Okay, so that's how it works. Good. So we're going to write a shorthand for this particular code. You come down and then we put something like border hyphen radius like this. Now the first one happens to be top left, which is 20, so we put 20 here, put 20 there, so 20 pixels. Next happens to be what? Top right. Okay, so sorry, 40 pixel. The next is bottom right before bottom left. Okay, I hope you are visualizing how it is. That's top left, top right, bottom right, bottom left, in that way, a clockwise rotation. So we put 10 pixel here, and then finally we put 60 pixel. So put 60 pixel. Good. Now let's comment this code out. Let's comment this code out. So Alt Shift A when you're using Visual Studio Code. Alt Shift A to comment your code. Good. So now let's go to our web browser, and when we reload this page, this particular design is supposed to remain as it is, because our first code, which is this one, is the same as this. This is a shorthand of this. Okay, so let's go ahead and then check it out. I'll take you to the web browser, reload this page, and everything remains. Is that not amazing? Okay, so that is it. That's border radius. Okay, very, very, very powerful. And this brings us to the end of border property in CSS. In my next episode, we're going to learn about margins and paddings. See you there.